Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is the challenge Ride or Dies episode 3 recap, A Bumpy Ride. Let's start at the very beginning where we left off, where Jordan shows up and Tori's like, oh my gosh. And now the big reveal is like, well, who's going to be his partner? Well, it's Anissa. Coming out with her fucking tongue out like, TJ style. It's very fucking weird. Very annoying. And right away, Anissa herself is like, Jordan and I, we never really saw eye to eye or whatever. We always had it back and forth. Yeah, because you know why? Because Jordan wasn't going to be, he was going to be on the show with Naya. Anissa was going to be on the show with, God, what's his name? It's not, shit. I don't remember. I used to know it. But some dude, right? And then as soon as Naya can't show up, then Jordan needs a partner. So producers like, Anissa, you're a fucking terrible person and your ride or die isn't real, just like in Bloodlines. You're willing to drop them, right? It's just like, hell yeah. So yeah, they're together now. Moving on to the house. Johnny and Raven are just not clicking. I mean, they're going to perform well, really well in this upcoming mission, and really well in the elimination. But, I mean, what's her name is there? Nerys? I don't know her name. Nelson's ride or die. But, Johnny and her have been hooking up, which I didn't even mention in the other recap, but that did indeed happen. And I didn't bring it up because usually I don't give a damn. I'm like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I mean, if it was like momentous and earth shattering, like Cara Maria and Johnny Bananas hook up, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's fucking crazy. But that's not the case, right? There's a couple of rookies banging. Who gives a toot? So Johnny and Raven, though, overall, I don't get it. So was Raven looking for something more? Because I don't think they were exes or anything. And they end up leaving. They get eliminated because, as Devin said, he's like, oh yeah, I can see that they're physically a good match, but if there's no, team spirit, what's the point? Something like that, right? Yeah, and it's too bad. I really wonder if Johnny was like, hey man, we're going to be so close, and who knows, it might even give you the D. But then he doesn't. He gives it to Nerys. What's her name? Jesus Christ. I just realized today I was rewatching some of the episode, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that person. Oh, I forgot about, all of the ride or dies, the majority of them are completely forgettable to me. Not really their fault. It's just that they're not given a lot of camera time. Yeah. But that was kind of the case with Bloodlines as well. Okay, so moving on though, meanwhile, Fessel, which is Fessy's actual name. I was going to say it's his new name. No, actually, Fessy is Fessel's new name, if anything. But, so apparently this is Fessel's 4th season, right? And now he's going to change his name. He's going to ditch his government name, you know what I'm saying? And go by Fessel. It's Arabic, meaning decision maker. Ironically enough, because he's like, I don't know who to not bang. Because he's like, what is he like? Cuddling with Michelle and Laurel. Like Michelle at night, Laurel in the morning. Sounds like a really good regimen, right? I'll take that. Michelle at night, Laurel in the morning. And then, meanwhile, though, he's like, flirting with Colleen in the hot tubs and shit. Apparently that's like a normal routine for them because he brings it up at the interrogation. And also Annalise, he's been Mackinac, and yet he calls her into interrogation as well. Yeah, I don't know. That there's a decision in a way, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Because none of those women are gone at the end of the episode. But let's move forward to the mission. Build me up, which is very boring to me. It's like you carry barrels together, heavy barrels. You stack them. You don't even have to stack them. You just have to carry 6 to one spot. You're gonna do this 3 times, but when you bring it to the spot, someone has to jump up and tap a thing, and there's some color poofs out. Just because you have to do that, right? You have to have some sort of color, some sort of because this is very boring to watch. Very boring. It almost makes me miss a puzzle. No, I'm kidding. Thank God it's not a puzzle. Thank God it's not fucking anything in water, so we don't have to see fucking TJ laughing way more than needed. But it's going to be in 2 heats. Fessel and Mariah win the first heat. Johnny and Raven win the second heat. Really, in second place, though, Horatio and Olivia are that fucking close. You can't see how close these fingers are, but they're really close. Okay, so Tommy and Annalise do bad. They're like, hey, we can't help it. We're both really shorter people, and they are. They totally are. But let's talk about Jordan and Anissa. Jordan is like, okay, I gotta go slower. I can't really lose my shit with Anissa. Anissa is not fast. She's not, this and that, Some would call it beautiful. Oh my God. Tori's like, it's beautiful, them working together or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you're just biased. You have a podcast with Anissa, and Jordan used to be with you. It's not beautiful. What the fuck? Every time someone has to work with Anissa, Anissa always brings up how calm they are, how they're gentlemen. It's kind of like when she was with Mark in the final of Duel 2. Yeah, Anissa, get used to that. A lot of men are gonna be like, okay, who with Anissa has ever been psyched, really? Oh, thank God I have Anissa. We're going straight to the top. I don't think so. Let's get into interrogation. Fessel and Mariah win overall, right? According to the producers. And again, with the last episode where it's like, oh, they won? Okay. If you say so, even though a lot of people have been calling you out for bullshit in these recent seasons, But whatever. Interrogation. Fessel and Mariah. They invite Colleen and Kim. Oh, let me just say this. Fessel. This is... At first I was like, how dare you, Fessy? Bananas didn't change his name until... And then I'm like, oh, hold on. Yeah, because John... It was John, right? In the duel. And then I think it was Johnny after that until... Oh, shit. When did he get bananas? Fuck. Was it rivals or exes? I really don't know. Wow, I might be wrong about that. But either way, at first I was like, Fessy, what the heck? You can't just change your name. But then again, he's like, well, actually, Fessy isn't my name. you know, my real name is Fessel. And Banana's name really isn't Bananas. It's John. You know, Abram will always remind you of that. So I kind of like it. And I'll try and remember Fessel until until he goes back to Fessy. Would he ever do that? I don't know. Because really, it's like I'm just thinking in terms of an American audience. We're like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I could sound out Fessy and you know, figure what that says, but not this face all. All right, let's go to the bar. Where oh shit, Tori and Jordan talk. Yeah. Yeah, Tori's just like, oh my god, you stopped caring about me like 6 months before it ended, and you didn't care. And after we broke up, I slept with Fessel over there, and yeah, Fessel is a vessel of love, apparently. Um, Moving on though to Tommy and Annalise, they're promising both Colleen and Kim and Horatio and Olivia that they're like, hey, we're gonna totally save you if you pull that sword out, man, we'll save you. And they say that to the other teams. That'll pay off, right? I mean, and that's the other thing. Okay, so we get to the zone, and you got to pull the safety. You know, this is the draw two. The first draw was from free agents, and even then, I remember hearing stories like one person was like, I knew which one was the draw card because, you know, they were made from wood, and so they all had a different look to them. And it's not like they changed it up every time either, right? And it was always really weird how the producers determined who would pick in which order. You know, it just stinks to high heaven of producers having their fucking little fingers into everything. You know, God. And has anyone else noticed how producers they have their voices during the confessionals now? You could hear them talking to them, which sometimes is kind of cool because you're like, oh shit. But then it's like, again, starting with free agents, that's when producers started to put, you know, make their presence known more and more. Where they're like, oh my god, we're going to have twists. These players, audience, you know, you should watch this show for these people. Well, really, eventually you're going to be talking about us and how random and twisted and like all these shocks and, you know, these crazy things that the producers are going to do, right? Yeah. I don't know. So I feel like it's happening again right now. Let's see if we could move on. Okay, so anyways, draw the fucking swords. Who knows? Maybe they know. Maybe a sword looks different from the other, the handle, you know, or like I said, the producers, like who decides? Why was it decided that these guys can go first compared to the other group? You know, like it's not like it's compared to how well they did in the mission. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So Annalise and Tommy, they both. Okay, well, Johnny and Raven were decided to go in no matter what. So Annalise and Tommy, they get the safety sword, and they have to choose between Colleen and Kim and Horatio and Olivia, who they promised both. They were like, "Oh, we have your backs, dude. We're not gonna send you in. I hope you don't send us in." You know. So right now they're exposed as fucking liars. But again, I think Annalise was like in the confessional. She's like, "I don't care. I'll cheat and, you know, lie to your face, whatever." Yeah. I'm glad you're so cool with that, you know. If it was me, I would be like, I would make it like, oh god, there's a reason here, people. I won't even go into it right now, but I'm dealing with something back home. Maybe or maybe not. I made a promise to a dying uncle, or I would like throw in the two people at the same time, just because he's always wanted to see that or something like that, right? I would make something up. But instead, she's like, I don't care. I will totally sell my soul for TV, you know? So let's get into Double Decker. Horatio and Olivia defeat Johnny and Raven in Double Decker. That's where you have to take a shit in a fucking toilet. You open the toilet top, take a shit in the water. So when the person who owns the toilet flushes, well, prepare to see some shit come out and fill the bowl. That is sadly not what it's all about on this one. This is a hall brawl, with a little bit of a twist. I'm personally kind of tired of hall brawl, but this was okay. This was all right. I like the competition because these are two, for sure, strong rookie teams. Never mind rookie teams, just strong teams. I don't remember exactly how it went down. I think Horatio beat Johnny because he was like, hey, I noticed that Johnny switches his stance or his posture gets a little different. He moves his feet before he goes in for a big push. So he's like, as soon as he does that, as soon as I see that, I'm pushing a little bit more at those moments in his transition, right? So if you win your heat at the bottom of the double decker, that gives you a 1 second advantage. 1 second to get to the beam. Now, I think Horatio and Olivia won both heats, right? Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, I don't think Johnny and Raven won either one. But that is crazy how, like, you could just be giving it your all, working as hard as you fucking can, just to give your partner a 1 second advantage. Because they were thrown down. But then again, the women do as well up there. So much so that Olivia's pushing Raven right out of her shoes. Like multiple times. That was crazy. Okay, so after that, Horatio and Olivia win. You know what? Personally, it sucks that Johnny and Raven are gone. They were a strong team. But yeah, Raven was definitely like, oh my god, you're not giving me enough time. Enough of your time. I'm not feeling like we're a team and stuff. And Horatio and Olivia, I like a lot. Those guys are cool. So overall, I'm glad they won. So now TJ's like, hey man, I'm still feeling friendly, man. So he's like, so bring him out. And then they're like, oh shit. And then he's like, no, I'm just kidding. And they're like, oh, that was dumb, wasn't it, TJ? He's like, oh, I'm kidding him a second time. Bring him out for real. And it cuts off before we're shown who it is. But it's like, oh, what the fuck, man? It's going to be Darrell and Veronica. But it's like, who gives a like, I feel nothing right now. When someone goes home after elimination and then you bring in someone else, it just does not have the same effect, I feel, that you want it to have, producers. Yeah, it's very bizarre. I don't know. And now, like, we have a significant rookie team. They spearheaded the whole rookie revolution too. They didn't call it that, but you know what I'm saying? And now they're gone. And it certainly doesn't help that their numbers were dwindling anyways, because you bring in Bananas and Jordan. I don't know, whatever. I mean, Darrell and Veronica, I'm glad you guys are here overall because I do like you guys. But you also were treated like fucking royalty. You didn't have to compete in the first 3 missions, so you guys should be fresh. Yeah, hopefully you guys stay healthy, Veronica. But yeah, that was the episode. Overall, I'm very mixed. I think the biggest positive is just Horatio and Olivia staying over Johnny and Raven. Although like I said, I think both of them are really strong. I just feel a little bit more attachment to Horatio and Olivia. But yeah, that was the end of the episode. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.